what happens when you actually do draw an elk tag? So I want to talk a little bit about just kind of the planning process of your elk hunt. So you've been applying for Arizona maybe no years, you maybe get lucky and draw a tag with your first time applying, or you've got a bunch of bonus points and this is the elk hunt that you've been waiting for 10 years. Okay, you drew an elk tag, now what? Okay, so this is that point where you have to really start breaking down what your goals are, what your budget is, and what your realistic time frame is to hunt. And everybody has a different situation. So the first thing is understanding what your goals are and knowing where to hunt. So if you drew an elk tag in a premier unit where there's big bulls and you've got expectations where you want to shoot a 330-inch bull or better or a 350-inch bull or better, that takes a lot of planning, that takes a lot of scouting, and that takes getting in the area. Guys, Arizona is the best place to hunt elk on public land in the country. That does not mean there are 350-inch bulls around every tree. It's predominantly a very desert climate, even in the pines, even where all these elk live. There is not water everywhere. These populations are good, but these elk know where to hide. They know the cracks and canyons to get into to avoid hunters every single year, and that's how they get big. So let's just talk about the planning process. If you do not know the area in Arizona, if you've drawn a tag and you're not familiar with the area, you just know it's a good place to elk hunt. Obviously, the first place you're going to go to is the internet, and then you're going to go ask some friends or whoever, suggested that you apply for, whether it be Hunting Fool magazine or a hunting buddy that just said, hey, you should put in for Unit 10. I've heard it's really good. So do your research on the internet, talk to people that may know the area, and then also look into what it's going to take to actually get into the area. So buying a map. Flatline makes awesome hard copy maps. Onyx has maps on your phone that you can use. Start looking at the country. And this is kind of where the rubber meets the road, guys, is everybody can look at a map and say, oh man, I bet there's elk here, 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 here. This looks like a good place to be. This is some water tanks. There are 3 phases to finding an elk and kind of the scouting process. There's first what's called e-scouting is what I was just talking about, where you go online, you look at a map, you go over it, and you go, these looks like great spots to be. That's phase 1. Phase 2 is actually putting boots on the ground and going into these areas, and that's where you have to plan your time. So you need to plan time to scout and get in these areas and actually spend some time driving these roads and hiking into some of these spots. Phase 3 of the scouting, the whole hunting process, is what the heck does that look like on the day of your hunt? Because I'll tell you, in July, in the summertime, these elk units, it's going to look like everything's going to be really green and lush, and there's water everywhere, and the elk are just lounging out in the middle off the roads, and you're waving at them, and that looks very, very different than December 1st. December 1st, there's snow on the ground, everything's dead, elk are pushed in some nasty crevices. There's no longer elk off the side of the roads anymore. So you need to understand that every process of your scouting and planning is going to require an understanding of what the next step is. So when you e-scout, you just kind of get a feel of the area, kind of what the terrain is, where the roads go, water holes, wilderness areas, some roadless areas, glassing knobs. Second phase, getting into the areas, understanding what it actually looks like, and then getting some knowledge of what it's going to look like actually at the time of your hunt. It's very similar to like if you go in some of these elk units in September, there's going to be bulls bugling and chasing around cows. That's not going to happen on your late rifle hunt, and vice versa. You may be scouting in July, and then there's elk that are just lounging around. You're like, where are all the bulls at? Well, the bulls aren't going to come in until later on, but you know where the cows are at. So understanding what the difference is of when your hunt is actually going to start, what to expect, where the cows are going to be, where the bulls are going to be. Are they going to be rutting? Are the bulls going to be by themselves, bachelored up in a late rifle season, or chasing around cows in the early season, and kind of what that looks like and what to expect. So the planning process of drawing your elk hunt is very important. And the next step is understanding your budget. So you may be in a position where, hey, you can take like a week off work to make this happen. And that week just happens to be the week of your hunt. I mean, you can literally like, hey, I can't take off work. I've got 1 week to work, and that's it. You need to get as much information prior to starting your hunt as possible. That's all I can say for that. If you don't have the time to scout and to get in the area, or the budget to hire a guide or a scouting package or something like that, you need to do as much research as possible, and then really get after it on the days that you're actually hunting, and the days that you go in there. So, and I see this firsthand time and time again, just being out in these elk units during elk season, when it's literally crickets until Thursday night, the night before the elk season starts, and all of a sudden everybody, their neighbor shows up and they expect that elk to be all over the place, and you know, you talk to them a few days later and like, man, where's all the elk? I thought this was a great elk unit. It is a great elk unit. You have to have some time understanding where they are, where they're going to be, and where they are opening day, and where they're going to be on the third day, and where they're going to be in the middle of the day. And that takes time and scouting and getting in the country and knowing all that stuff prior to your hunt. So if you don't have the time to do that, that's your best shot. Choose an area, talk to people, get as much information as you can, and really expect to work really hard. Kind of the next level is, hey, you may have some time. You've got a couple weeks off work, maybe take a vacation with the family, go camping. A great way to scout for your hunt is to take a vacation with your family or go on a camping trip. So it will be probably in the summertime, weather's nice, it's not very cold out. Plan it in your elk hunt. Plan it in your elk unit, I should say. So go into the unit that you drew your tag, find some stuff, make it a fun little adventure, and get in there. Drive around, glass, go walk around, make notes. Put notes on your Onyx, put notes in yourself to yourself before your hunt, saying this is good, this wasn't so good. It's a great knob on a map, but you really can't see very much when you're actually up there. All these things play a big factor in you being successful. So that's kind of the second phase where you've got some time, and in my opinion, if you've never been to an elk unit, you need 3 weeks, okay? You need 1 week to get in there before the hunting starts. The best place to do it, kind of like what I said, in the summer or early fall. So get in there for a week and do some scouting. And then, in my opinion, the best time to do it is the next 2 weeks you take off, is the 2 weeks, the week up until your hunt and the week of your hunt. So every elk hunt is typically 7 days. The archery hunts are 2 weeks. And so it's my opinion the same thing. If I drew an early archery elk tag, I would take 3 to 4 weeks off. I would take the whole week before the hunt off. I think the best way to be successful, guys, even if you don't get in and scout before your hunt, take like months before your hunt, take that full first week off before your hunt and spend time in the unit and dialing it in. If you can only do that, do that. So take the full week off before your hunt and then hunt that week. Guys, the biggest bulls, the most success that every hunter has is in the first 3 days of a hunt. And because when the scouting comes into it, they know where the elk are at. They're not, if you can be in the right spot at the right time, and there's not, the hunting pressure isn't all over the place at that time quite as much, that's the best chance for success. So my advice is, even if you can take 10 days off to hunt, take 5 days off before the hunt to scout and hunt the first 3 days, and that's, or 10 days or whatever. So just know that's my opinion, and I've had a lot of success in that. I've drawn some and a really good elk tag, and that was kind of my aspect. I had some work requirements. I had to be up in Alaska on a brown bear hunt, and so I only had 3 days of hunt, but I took the whole week before that hunt started to do scouting and understand the caliber of bulls, what I was looking for, kind of do an inventory, do some scouting, understand what I'm looking for. Because that's another thing, guys, if you draw a good unit, and you're like, I'm going to shoot a 380 bull, and if you don't do any scouting, not only will you not know where the bulls are at, but you don't even know if there is a 380 bull in there, because some units can grow 400-inch bulls 1 year, and in another dry year, those bulls may only be 360 inches. So you need to know kind of what to expect and what to pull the trigger on when you find a bull that you like. So that's kind of the second phase of, you've got some time, may not have a huge budget to hire an outfitter or guide or scouting or whatever that is, or whatever, drop camp and all that fun stuff. but you do have the time and you can take off work and you really give your hunt the best chance to succeed. The third phase is, hey, you may not have the time, but you've got some money. So work may be a barrier for you. You can't take 3 weeks off work to scout or a month off work to scout and go in there every year. But you've got some disposable income that you want to help yourself. You want to hire a guide, hire an outfitter, do some scouting, report packages, stuff like that. That can really jumpstart your hunt as well. So if you are physically capable, ready to pack out an elk, and you don't really have the time to get in there, you know how to hunt, you've done it before, a scouting package or kind of a drop camp scenario might be the best thing for you, because if you want to get in there, you don't necessarily want a guide, but you don't have the time to get out there and do it, but you have the income, then that's what I would suggest. Give you a jump start so that you're not wasting your time on your hunt. The valuable time that you have set aside for that hunt, you're not wasting it trying to put yourself in the right areas. By getting a scouting package or a drop camp and those kinds of things, it buys your time and condenses your time so that you're in the right spot at the right time. No wasted time. You can just do what you want to do and hunt. And the next thing, guys, is say you're not as physically capable as you were 20 years ago, and you really need some extra help in these elk hunts. And this is something that's very serious. If you draw an elk tag, you really have to evaluate yourself physically and what you're capable of, and kind of adjust your hunting accordingly. Because if you are not ready to carry out 100-pound packs out of canyons and long 5-mile hikes, then you're going to be pretty limited to what's close to a dirt road, and that's going to determine how you hunt. But if you really want to shoot a bigger bull, those bulls typically are not found close to dirt roads or roads in general, and they're found in these deeper canyons, and you really want to shoot a big bull and you have some disposable income, then that's where a guide comes in handy. Is that a guide can take you into these spots and show you some of these big bulls and hopefully get you access and make it happen with you, and you be successful. And you also don't have to worry about you getting hurt packing out a bull by yourself on your own. So the value to me for an elk guide specifically is the logistics, getting the elk out of the field. That is one of the hardest things to do. It's one of the most demanding, physically demanding, and most dangerous things you can do. So be realistic about your capabilities physically and make an adjustment from there. And even if it is just like, hey, can I be on call if I shoot a bull in a bad area and I need help to pack something out? There's plenty of guys that do that, guys with horses. I know a lot of guys like that too, and some of my guides, they are on call as well, like, hey, can you help me pack out a bull? I just nailed it and it's way deep in a spot. So we do help out with stuff like that. And also there are some guys all over the place that do that. You just kind of got to do some research before your hunt. This is all pre-planning, guys. What do I do when I draw an elk tag? What are the next steps? How do I get there? Please feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm a resource for you guys. Just if you have any questions about guides or outfitters. I am an outfitter and guide myself, but if it's not a unit that I like or comfortable with, or a unit that I guide, I will definitely recommend you to the best outfitter, in my opinion, that guides in those spots or for those seasons. And also any other questions, just areas, units, what to expect opening day, because some of these units are an absolute war zone. Other units you're not going to see very many people, but you know, there's just whole different scenarios, guys. Please feel free to reach out to me, and good luck on your elk tag. Shoot straight. We'll talk to you later.